met you, what we talked about was something exactly what I was trying to do. And it was something that I knew was the path that I really wanted to take. I didn't want to get into all the nits and gnats and have to run spreadsheets and so on.
You were a consumer of outside advice, coaching. In fact, you had one or two going when we first met.
I did. I had a coach from a particular franchise with particular systems and so on. There was a lot of helpful things in that. Kind of read its course after a year or so, and so it was time to move on.
What was keeping you from achieving this goal on your own?
Not knowing how to get from here to there, how to be able to deliver in a strategic sense what I was wanting to deliver, which again was helping them get to their goals. I'm an entrepreneur. My wife and I both have been for quite a while. We know the struggle, and it's easy to hit that ceiling. And that ceiling is what got me here. It's not going to get me there. I didn't know how to get from here to there. I was really seeking. You were already connected. You already had thought through all of this. To me, it was just exactly what I'd been looking for and didn't know how to go about finding it.
Can you describe the shift you made once you joined the program to start advising clients proactively versus the after the fact, once per year type hacks and bookkeeping relationship?
I got to tell you, it was a gradual transformation that still continues. What has this been, 2.5, 3 years?
I think the biggest watershed was that event we went to in San Diego.
That's right. And what I heard in that, there was one presentation where a financial planner and a CPA were speaking about their experiences. And I heard the amount of money that the financial planners receive from their engagements. Golly, what was that? I don't even know if you remember that $25,000. It was like $130,000. I think it's a victory to do a tax return for $2,500 or $3,000. What am I doing? I remember I was so blown away by that. I asked you after the session, is this really the numbers you're talking about? And you're like, yeah, didn't you know that? No, I had no idea. That's what we tapped into.
How do you work with clients now versus prior to joining the program?
Oh, wow, way differently. You're very patient coaching over a period of time. I've learned to ask much, much better questions, and I'm nowhere near there, but I'm doing a lot better at it. And that's what it's all about. It's all about asking the questions, the discovery piece, because there's no one size fits all. There are very standard things in business that we have to address, but everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own perspective on things. And the way to communicate, the way they absorb information can be rather different. Very important to get that so that we know that we're communicating. One of the very large challenges I continue to have, you call it the curse of knowledge, which is, as a CPA, I know what I'm trying to say, but it doesn't communicate always with clients because CPAs speak too often. It's not what they're going to be able to absorb. And so asking those better questions and getting a sense of how to communicate is key. Tell you what, it's really worked. I think we're this year $100,000+ in revenue more. No, I think it's even more than that, $150,000 worth of revenue more.
What did your wife, Debbie, relate to you just a month ago?
She's stunned. She's looking at the bank account. She checks our bank accounts. And we have a number of businesses. She is stunned at the amount of money that's still in the bank right now. Tax business, as we know, big push till the deadline. And there's other little pushes, the corporate deadline, the personal deadline. But mostly when we get into the fall months, there's not much income. And we just hold on, hoping that it'll last until end of January when the taxes really start rolling in. And that looks like a thing of the past.
How does that feel?
Oh, my God. It is such a relief. You used the term breathing room, and that was our big priority when we met. These are the priorities. Number one is breathing. You got to have enough money to where you can not have to sweat paying the bills all through the year and be able to concentrate more on building the business, working on the business. Not nearly where we need to be, but I do have breathing.
How do you cut down on distractions as your success grows? As you're doing this one thing, how do you cut down on distractions, keep your focus?
Number one is being very clear who my target market is, which means being clear about who it's not. I don't need to be taking on clients that are using up bandwidth not the kind of clients that I need to be working with. That's very key. For things that routine, repetitious, administrative, those kind of things, it's more about training my staff and delegating to them, trusting them, empowering them. And that's working really nicely. It takes some time. In the past, I thought, I'm the CPA, I'll just go ahead and take care of it. But no, by doing that, what I realized is I'm denying them the opportunity to learn and grow. So I have to take my time in the front end to teach. I'm telling you, afterwards, it's a beautiful thing.
What has been the most transformative part of the program for you?
It's a mind shift to being very open, being more creative, tapping into the emotional. You want more profit? Everybody says, yeah. Why? What is your why?
Is that important? How have you found that to be important to your ultimate client?
But it has to tap into something deep within them, what it really means, something of deep importance to them as to why they need that. I have kids going to college. I need to provide for them because they love their kids. I need to find out what that why is, because now we know as we gain the profit, it's not profit for profit's sake, it's for purpose. And now we've defined that purpose. And that's on an emotional level more than it is on an analytical level, which we CPAs are so good at jumping into and being so analytical, we miss the emotional piece. We have clients that you and I work together on, collaborate with, and they can't stop saying how great this is for them to be able to work with us to achieve the things that they achieve. And it's not just the dollars and cents, which does come. And we're doing great things for them. We're doing really good things. Well, we hear the piece that says, this is the 1 hour in my week that I get to concentrate on me.
Oh, yeah, isn't that amazing?
It's so refreshing. It just energizes me to the point that I am good to go for the rest of the week. That's special. That's very special.
As we wrap up here, what would be your number one piece of advice that you would give to CPAs who are struggling with compliance work, not enough money or time?
You got to connect with Trow and let him guide you through the process. It's not one, it's a series of things. We talk about what we do for the clients is layering and sequencing. And it's the same way with this learning process. We became CPAs because we wanted to help. A lot of us that do the tax and the bookkeeping, we want to help the busy business owners. And we want to be able to explain things so they know what's going on and so on. Just take it to the next level. Trow will show you that.